stuff here, I talked about a lot of the commitment that I thought Garrett had with his swing fundamentals, his ability to understand the game. And the reason I talked about that is it was uncommon. Like, most golfers, they see it as a sport, much like baseball, where they're going to try to hit it hard, hit it good, but they're going to, they're committing to it. But I see a little difference in the way that Garrett or Kenny or Tim or Jay and Brian, they approach the game more musically, they approach the game with the idea that they are going to succeed, and the idea that they're up there doing the same thing that they've been practicing and they've been preparing for. And when I talked with Coach Smolinski a couple weeks ago, I was trying to tell him that I had an idea to do a little something different. I wasn't sure if he was going to take a liking to it, but he did. I told him that I wasn't quite sure of what I would talk about, but I did know I wanted to find a way to embrace the moment, a way to use this as like more of a threshold for me. I mean, a little background about me. I mean, this is my 5th year on the golf team. When I came into college golf, I assumed that as an athlete I could compete. And with that, I disregarded a lot of assumptions about the fundamentals of what it took to succeed. I said, I'll have a college bag. I'll be able to not make that mistake when the time comes. And I think that, through that way of simplifying it, I was able to hit a little slice, hit a little fade, and get away with it because I wasn't concerned with anybody else's approach to the game besides the one that worked for me. It just seemed so irrelevant if somebody else was hitting a 270. If I knew I could hit a 240 out there, I knew that my 7-iron was more accurate than most guys' 9-iron. But just as most things you come to find out, it's like not practical. I'm not going to go anywhere hitting a 240, and I might have a decent NCAA career, but I'm going to be getting the maximum potential out of something that isn't fundamentally correct because I can make up for it with my athleticism. And as Wes is giving me the best compliment I've ever received from somebody, he goes, "Man, if anyone else had your swing, they wouldn't be able to hit it." and when someone says something like that, they have to be confident that the other person is going to take it as a compliment, or else it might seem a little insincere. I mean, that's something that you kind of take with as much as a smile as a grain of salt when someone says that about you. But but it was true. It was that the fact is, when I thought about the golf swing, when I was considering what I was going to do in my future, I kind of have a way to life, and it's more about being a student to life and being a student to the situations, and not really using fundamentals to figure yourself out. But as I grew through the team, I started to learn that I didn't have to do things differently, but instead I do things right. And then because of my differences or what I thought were my edges on on shortcuts, that through doing it correctly, that's where I'm going to make my biggest jumps. And so back to my speech. We're through sentence 1. That's bullet point number 2. Moving along. All right. I started to think about my numerous successful experiences trying to qualify to represent UCI Irvine on the Division I level. From the 5:30 alarm clock, out the door at 6 a.m. The 6:28, I got time for Jack in the Box. I'll just tell Coach there was traffic. We've all done it. Just that situation alone. I mean, I know all parents here know what it's like to wake up that early, but I just don't think that the experience is that generalizable. When you're waking up in a dorm room where everyone's just been going to sleep, and you're waking up, you're meeting people as they're coming in intoxicated, and you're going out with your golf bag. And both of you look at each other and you're like, "Why are you doing this?" Equally from your perspective. And you're like, "You're coming in, but I'm going out." But both of you are like, "How could you put yourself through such, torture?" But and that's what that's what I thought. I thought that my experience here at UCI was unique, but not unique in a way that other people couldn't understand me, but just unique that I had to make sense of it. I had to make sense of the experience of traveling with the team. Okay, we got a minivan, we got 5 people, 5 golf bags, 5 travel bags, and 6 people, and we got 130 miles. And it's like, and we got Brian in there. And as Derek has already said, what I'm telling you is you have to battle adversity, and then when you get there, when you get through there and you get to the tournament, you're almost like, man, we're almost here happy just to make it, because with bad weather, it follows college golf around. And and that's really more of what I wanted to go for when I was talking. Is not really to the coaches or to the parents or to the players, but it's like my parents aren't here, but they've already read my speech of what I wanted to say. Even though they knew I wasn't going to read it anyway, just because I go off on tangents. But it's like that was the threshold. I was preparing for tonight, and then tonight was kind of easy, but I was a little stressed out, and it was still hard. But what I'm telling you as teammates is like, it's always hard when you're not prepared. It's hard. It seems like it's coming fast. It seems like it's only 18 holes. It seems like it's 36 holes in one day. But in reality, it's like if you prepare for that, it takes 20 hours, 30 hours before that moment that really sets in why that moment exists or doesn't exist. And one of the biggest struggles I had was I went through a horrible slump in my golf career, where I woke up one day and I realized I knew nothing about the golf swing. I realized that I didn't know where the club was supposed to be. I didn't know, and that's why I didn't like cameras. It scared me. It was like, well, if I hit it good, why should I, have that negative ground? Looking at that, it just doesn't look like I hit it well. And I think that you need to find something that's working for you, but also following the fundamentals, elements of success. Because I'm not going to stand up here and say that every professional golfer that's successful was successful all the way through their career, but what they did was, at some point in time, they understood what they needed to promote. And they found acts, they found actions, habits, workouts. They found ways that it would help them. So I give Garrett the jump rope because, maybe he needs helping with his timing because his swing's so good. But, maybe I give, Wesley, resistance training so he can get more flexible. And one of the biggest problems with UCI is that we're over our budget all the time because we have to fundraise so much that we lose the little intricacy part. So we get, we have a workout with Max, but Max is volunteering because we need someone that is talented, and we can't just have someone who we're going to pay minimum wage because they're not going to know what we need to do. So we need to find someone like a volunteer, and when he falls into that, all of a sudden our team just reacts with success. It's like it just seems as players, you assume that we're all cattle being herded around, right, Brian? This is the Brian Edicts, the golf workout for UCI is we're all cattle just being herded around the course, just drag, But I told him it's true, but, I learned that if I run, I can focus on my legs, I can focus on my arms, and the idea is it's really where your focus is. And I've been learning how to run, and Max has helped me learn how to break through thresholds, and it's really about not worrying about the threshold you're breaking through, but rather just doing things that promote the ideals and what you want to do. And that's why I stand here and happy that I'm able to talk, is because in college golf, parents you might not know, and Chichester, you might not be aware of all the intricacies of college golf, but I would say that there's a lot of universities willing to break their ethical code to win, whether by recruiting or incentives or traveling or whatever it is. They're cheating it a little, and like I'm just happy that I know that I went to a school that although they cared about winning and motivated, they weren't going to cheat the system first. Rather, it's almost like, well, get yourself pulled together, organize what you want to do, the right way, and then we'll win. And you kind of resent that. And Jay might also attest that at first you're kind of like, well, other schools are doing that. I mean, I'd like to mow a lawn and get $30. Like these are things that happen at USC or other schools, not for golf. I'm not making accusations. I'm just saying. These things might exist. But I'm saying that when you're on a team with Jeff Johnston, that's why my parents never really worried about my golf career. It was like my mom came on my recruiting trip. She really enjoyed, Paul's, ethics toward the golf, and she really enjoyed Johnston's exuberance, and he pretty much made my career here as far as for my mom. He thought he kind of like-minded and kind of goofy, kind of erratic, but really had a reason to say it. Basically, I challenge people like Tim and freshmen to just do this. I came here as a senior in high school and I saw the banquet. And Johnston said something that really hit home, and it was like, in success, failing to prepare is successfully preparing to fail. So if you don't really get it done, then there's no way for you to just show up to the course, expect to stretch out, and then you're going to get it done. You might get it done on the short term, but as far as consistency, I think that's our team's struggle, is to find a way to translate all of our energy at 6 a.m. It's hard, and it's something that it tests everyone. And And you go through a cycle. At first I'm up at 6, this is great, and then all of a sudden your friends are going to bed at 2, and you're having to go to bed at 12 or even 10 or whatever it takes for you. But I'm saying it's hard to resist that. But in life, the longevity, the passion comes from people like Brian who find virtue in having the habit, in having the discipline, in having the wants that don't come from results or awards, but rather from goals. And I just challenge all of you players in the future, just practice with a purpose. And I say that just like Coach has said it many, many times, but I really think it starts with having your organization, and then you're just going through the motions. It just seems like an easy day if you're already planned out on every hole. But when you don't know the course, or you don't have your shoes, or you don't have your socks, that's where I struggled. I couldn't handle the fact that I wasn't feeling right, and I was having to go out there in bad weather knowing that I wasn't comfortable and that this was a representation of me. And it kind of depresses you, and I think that at some point during everyone's college career, they look out elsewhere for their satisfaction because you're succeeding in something that no one does in reality. I mean, my friends never did this when I was growing up. They were my competitors that did this, and my friends played football and baseball, so I think it's just, it's hard to stand up here, and it seems like, very, very novelty and surreal, but in reality, I've given, 40 hours a week for the last 5 years to this organization. And when I start thinking about what I've been around Johnston, having a kid, becoming an education professor, John fulfilling his dream. I've been through a couple athletic directors. It really seems like when I think of my career, like I've had a career here, and I think it takes a moment like this to be able to contemplate it later. And that's pretty much all I have to say. I just wanted to have the moment where I was looking at everyone that I loved, including my girlfriend. Just the people that I really care about, and in my golf community. Everyone went away to different colleges, and this became my family, and I just think it took a little while for me to accept it, and I think that the faster you guys as a team accept that you're a team, and that, it's not another team, it's this team, and that there are intricacies to it, like you guys have titles, many people have titles, like, I just think that we're going to be better off, no more focusing on like negativity or why we played bad, but really just what we're trying to promote. And a lot of people go through slumps. I know Nita's going through a slump. I know Wes went through a slump. I know Derek went through a year where he had to just practice away from us, and we were like, hey, I remember you used to be on the team, and then all of a sudden he was there again. And it was like, that was, it was just no big deal, but it was Derek's life changing. I think you guys need to embrace that and understand that you're changing as people. And Garrett, you're progressing. You're not regressing. You're not changing. You're like, this is the evolution, man. I'm telling you, 5 years ago, it seems so slow, but as Chichester tells you, man, it's long, but it seems like yesterday. And the only difference between me now and me 5 years ago is I have information I didn't, and I've had experience that I didn't. And that's all I guess. I really hope that all you have is when you're done, you have enough experience doing something you love, whether it be golf, whether it be just getting into what you want to do. And and if you're golfers like I hope you are, man, Jay coming back next year, I know Jay doesn't like to play back. And Jay over this summer, he's gonna, I don't care if he has to buy out 3 hotel rooms in Palm Desert like he has before. We're gonna be ready. And I think parents should be very confident with our success. So thank you very much for this.